listening to the James Talk Show. Today we'll be meeting three iconic people in history who are all very different but have one thing in common: having to fight the Cold War. Now, if you live under a rock and don't know, Cold War is a metaphorical war of ideologies between nations. During a war, no physical fighting actually occurs. However, this does not mean that it isn't a tough quandary. You all voted on our poll and on our blog and said Reagan did the best to fight through the Cold War. And today we have some special guests with us. Now, let's welcome Richard Nixon.
Woo! Woo! Yeah! Yes, Nixon! Woo!
Jimmy Carter.
Woo! Woo! Go Jimmy! Action.
Ronald Reagan.
Woo! Yeah! Woo! Woo!
Let's start off with Richard Nixon.
Good evening, James.
So you were president from 1969 to 1973, correct? Your foreign policy was based around morality, am I correct?
Both of those are correct. Yes, my foreign policy was centered around easing tension between nations. We made agreements with treaties, and we sold food to them to butter them up a little bit. And all this led to SALT.
Oh yes, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaties, or SALT, was an agreement with the Soviets to stop building nuclear ballistic missiles for 5 years.
So when did this happen again?
Oh, it was back in 1972. It was in around the end of May.
Very interesting. So what's the significance of this treaty?
Well, personally, I believe that it's the main jewel of my presidency because it was the first time that the United States and Soviet Union were able to agree on a limit of nuclear weapons. Well, personally, I believe that is the main jewel of my presidency because it was the first time that the United States and Soviet Union were able to agree on a limit of nuclear weapons. What's so funny?
I find it funny how you call that your main jewel when all we can remember is eep, eep, shh. I don't think anyone will ever forget the break-in, stealing, and wiretapping.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how that has anything to do with the Cold War.
Okay, moving on. Nixon, please tell us about the Nixon Doctrine.
Of course. The Nixon Doctrine was a statement which described my choice to slowly take American troops out of Southeast Asia. The United States was simply losing way too many lives for a negative result. We did state that if there was a nuclear threat, we would continue to provide in that sense, but otherwise we were going to take our men out of that area.
Very interesting. Were you able to stick to this doctrine throughout your whole term as president?
Yes, I was able to withdraw a ton of American soldiers.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you at this time. Let's move on to President Jimmy Carter. Welcome, Carter.
Woo! Jimmy!
I'll move. Sorry. Whatever.
Woo!
Fine.
Well, thank you, James.
Can you explain the human rights policy that you instituted?
Yes, so this policy was designed to encourage worldwide support for natural given human rights.
Didn't this policy rise anti-American regimes?
Well, yes, that is what some people believe because they said I moved away from anti-communist policies.
Interesting. Well, let's move on to discussing the Camp David Agreement, in which you risked your reputation and credibility.
Yeah, so the Camp David Agreement was a formal treaty between Egypt and Israel to normalize the relations between the two.
And what is its significance to the Cold War?
I was able to show that I wasn't sitting out of foreign relations and that I knew what I was doing.
That's what you think.
Excuse me?
Seemed to have no problem to stay out of Iran when that mob was holding 52 American hostages in the U.S. Embassy.
You know what, Reagan? Argo, fudge yourself.
Okay, guys, let's break it up. Let's move on to Reagan, shall we?
I'll get up.
Okay, Ronald. Now, what was your plan?
So obviously I wanted to spread more freedom and democracy and block the advancement of Soviet communism. We provided support, financially and militarily, for anti-communist fighters throughout Africa, Asia, and particularly in Latin America, in an attempt to roll back communism. I did not want to directly attack the communists, I just wanted to focus on helping the people being negatively affected by them.
You had something to do with Star Wars, am I right?
Yeah. We initiated a defense anti-missile system in space called Strategic Defense Initiative, or SDI, which was aimed at neutralizing incoming Soviet missiles.
Yeah, you really were able to shock the Soviets with that because they were unable to match us with that kind of technology.
This really focused on aiding the people around being targeted, and
Oh, that's not all you did.
I'm sorry, what does that mean?
Well, Richard and I focus more on peaceful negotiation, and you come in with an initiative and assuming the worst, completely neglecting the thought that this could be dealt with peacefully.
Well, excuse me for wanting to be prepared for a communist attack on our great nation, a threat to our way of government.
You seem very patriotic, Ronald. A great quality to have, may I say. Mr. Carter and Mr. Nixon, you both seem to have strong beliefs in your morality, which is also a good quality to have.
Anyways.
Well, listen, we care a lot about our country too. It's just.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Your
Honestly,
problem
I
is,
can't
you
even
know,
deal with
it's
this.
like-
Okay, you know what?
Literally,
Don't do
peaceful
anything
way
right.
is the best way. The
Excuse me.
negotiations.
No, I do
and
so much
he did
crap.
salt,
I did salt.
and
Oh,
we
you
had
did
to do
salt.
it all.
Oh,
And
fudge
we
off.
were so.
No,
I guess that's all for tonight.
We did our
See you next
job.
time.